This man, Sam Altman, is on a path to take over the world. We all know him as the CEO of OpenAI, but he's actually got 4 more world-changing projects that relatively few people know about. These projects combined can give him extreme control over the world. OpenAI is just a very small piece of this puzzle. So in this video, we're going to talk about what these 5 projects actually are. First, let's start with OpenAI. OpenAI is probably like the top AI company out there. They are at the forefront of AI development. They've recently unveiled Sora, which is by far the best and most realistic video generator out there. They've built this super realistic voice generator, which is also arguably the best out there. It can clone someone's voice just from 15 seconds of their audio. Here's the original audio.
Force is a push or pull that can make an object move, stop, or change direction. Imagine you're riding a bike down a hill. First, the push you give off the ground is the force that gets you going.
So just 15 seconds of this original audio, and you can make this person say whatever you want. So here's an example.
Some of the most amazing habitats on Earth are found in the rainforest. A rainforest is a place with a lot of precipitation, and it has many kinds of animals, trees, and other plants. Tropical rainforests are usually not too far from the equator and are warm all year.
Which is insane. Like, this is probably the best voice generator out there. And then one could say they also have the best large language model out there, GPT-4. Now, one could say that Claude 3 now outperforms GPT-4. However, keep in mind that OpenAI has a long history of keeping many things behind closed doors and not releasing them until like a few months to over a year later. OpenAI already has pending trademark applications for GPT-5, 6, and 7.
But if you want to build foundational models, how should we think about that? Where is it that a team from India, 3 super smart engineers with, not 100 million, but let's say 10 million, could actually build something truly substantial?
Look, the way this works is we're going to tell you it's totally hopeless to compete with us on training foundation models. You shouldn't try, and it's your job to, try anyway. And I believe both of those things.
So that was Sam Altman's response to a question at this Economic Times event, where he explicitly said it's hopeless to compete with OpenAI in terms of training AI models. Now, again, he could be bluffing here, but I actually think this is true. He knows something that we don't. The leaders at OpenAI, they really know what's going on at the forefront of AI development. And what they know is very different from what we know in the public. They often only release things to the public a few months afterwards. So here are a few examples of this. This brings us to the one and only Jimmy Apples. Now, if you're new to this channel and you haven't heard of Jimmy Apples, this is basically an anonymous Twitter account who seems to have produced a lot of accurate leaks about OpenAI. Now, you could disregard this as completely BS, this person is just a troll, but the things he has predicted are eerily accurate. On this March 4th tweet, he predicted the exact date of the GPT-4 announcement, which was on March 14th. He leaked the name Gobi, which was later confirmed to be a new multimodal language model from OpenAI. You can't just guess names like Gobi and get it right. On January 9th, Jimmy tweets about OpenAI withholding a 125 trillion multimodal version, which can generate videos, until 2024. So this was January 9th of 2023. And then, as we saw in early of 2024, OpenAI released Sora. So looking at the overall timeline of events at OpenAI, there seems to be a recurring theme here where OpenAI finishes building or training something, but they don't actually announce it to the public until a few months or even over a year later. GPT-4 finished in July of 2022, but they didn't release it until half a year later. Same thing with Sora. They released it 13 months after it was finished training. Here, Jimmy Apple says the model known as GPT-5 is completed training in October of 2022, which is crazy. It's almost 2 years now since they've finished training GPT-5, if what he tweets is true.
OpenAI is not a good company at keeping secrets. It would be nice, we're been plagued by a lot of leaks, and it would be nice if we were able to have something like that.
Plus, there's this mysterious Q-Star project that OpenAI is working on behind closed doors, and they haven't revealed anything to us.
Can you speak to what Q-star is?
We are not ready to talk about that.
See, but an answer like that means there's something to talk about. It's very mysterious, Sam.
I mean, we work on all kinds of research. We have said for a while that we think better reasoning in these systems is an important direction that we'd like to pursue.
So there's one keyword from that answer. He can't reveal anything yet, but he did mention the word reasoning. So this Q-star project could be an AI with enhanced reasoning. But whatever the case, all of this is to say that OpenAI is probably the top AI company out there. They're at the forefront of AI development and discovery, and there are a lot of things happening behind closed doors that the public isn't really aware of. These are like top secret projects that they're working on, and there's a lot of things they haven't released yet. So, all right, that was OpenAI. It's safe to say that Sam Altman holds, the top AI company out there. They're developing the best language models, video generators, voice generators, image generators, etc. But like I said, that's just a very small piece of his grand plan. So next up, his number 2 project, and these are not in any particular order, by the way, but his number 2 project is Stargate. So just a few days ago, Microsoft and OpenAI have announced that they are planning to build an AI supercomputer data center that is estimated to cost more than $100 billion. This will begin running in 2028. To give you some perspective of how much 100 billion is, OpenAI only raised $1 billion of investment from Microsoft and then an additional $10 billion investment in 2023. This supercomputer called Stargate, they think it'll cost more than $100 billion, so 10 times more than what OpenAI has raised. Note that OpenAI right now, the current valuation is around $80 billion. That's after years of already existing. And it's still not up to this $100 billion cost that this Stargate project will cost. So this data center project, called Stargate, will be headquartered in the USA to meet the growing demand for high-performance computing that supports generative AI workloads and applications. And guess who's going to pay for it? None other than OpenAI's sugar daddy, Microsoft. So Microsoft will likely foot the bill for their project. Stargate is expected to be 100 times more expensive than today's largest data centers. And just to give you some perspective of how big this project is, the annual spend of mega projects such as nationwide rail networks, dams, or even space programs such as the Apollo moon landings all pale in comparison. So why does Sam Altman and Microsoft need to build this supercomputer which costs way more than OpenAI and costs 100 times more than the biggest data centers out there right now? This all has to do with scaling laws. Here's AI expert Andrej Karpathy talking about scaling laws.
The first very important thing to understand about the large language model space are what we call scaling laws. It turns out that the performance of these large language models in terms of the accuracy of the next word prediction task is a remarkably smooth, well-behaved, and predictable function of only 2 variables. You need to know n, the number of parameters in the network, and d, the amount of text that you're going to train on. Given only these 2 numbers, we can predict with remarkable confidence what accuracy you're going to achieve on your next word prediction task. And what's remarkable about this is that these trends do not seem to show signs of sort of topping out. So if you train a bigger model on more text, we have a lot of confidence that the next word prediction task will improve. But we can sort of get more powerful models for free because we can just get a bigger computer, which we can say with some confidence we're going to get, and we can just train a bigger model for longer. And we are very confident we're going to get a better result.
So this is key here. Andrej states that the performance of large language models on tasks such as next word prediction is influenced strongly with only 2 factors. Number 1 is the number of parameters, and so larger models with more parameters tend to perform better. Number 2 is the amount of training data. So essentially, scaling up the model size or the amount of training data results in improved performance without needing to tweak any algorithmic things. You don't need to redesign or reprogram the LLM. This scaling law suggests that we simply need to increase the size of the model, in other words, add more parameters, and this can lead to more capable and more intelligent AI models. And if you scale this up massively, we can expect that the capabilities would improve vastly, potentially enabling more complex reasoning and task-solving abilities. If you want to read up more about scaling laws, I would recommend this paper, Scaling Laws for Neural Language Models, published by a lot of folks at OpenAI. This was back in 2020, as well as this paper by DeepMind, so Training Compute Optimal Large Language Models. This basically is the rationale for why Sam Altman needs to build a supercomputer. He needs a lot of compute to support an AI model with more parameters. The bigger you can scale the AI model, the more intelligent that AI will be, and the more capable it would be at reasoning and achieving complex tasks. In other words, one could say that compute power is the main limitation here. And by the way, it's not only Sam Altman that's really scrambling to be at the top of this AI computing race. So a lot of major companies are building their own AI chips, for example, to optimize computing. NVIDIA recently held their conference where they unveiled this Blackwell chip. You can see that compared to 8 years ago, the performance in computing has already increased 1,000 times, which is just crazy. This new Blackwell chip is 30 times more powerful than the predecessor, the Hopper chip. Now, the Hopper chip is already like the most demanded AI chip in the world, at least in 2023. It was literally sold out until early 2024. This was, again, the predecessor. This was 30 times less powerful than the new Blackwell chip that they just announced. But the H100s, they were in huge demand by, you can see, the largest tech companies. So, for example, Microsoft was estimated to order 150,000, and same thing with Meta. Amazon and Google, they're developing their own AI processing units, so their demand is relatively lower. Speaking of H100s and supercomputing, here's an interesting tweet from Kyle Corbett. He says, spoke to a Microsoft engineer on the GPT-6 training cluster. He was complaining about links between GPUs in different regions. So it looks like they have GPU data centers scattered across various locations, and that's not ideal. So Kyle asked, why not just co-locate the cluster in one region? And then the Microsoft engineer goes, oh yeah, we tried that first, but we can't put more than 100,000 H100s in a single state without bringing down the power grid. Now, since this tweet has gone out, some has argued that this information is incorrect and misleading, and you can have more than 100,000 H100s in a single state without bringing down the power grid. However, this does bring up a large concern about, building a supercomputer called Stargate, which is expected to be 100 times more expensive than today's largest data centers. How on earth are you going to have enough energy to support this? Here it says, Stargate's power requirements, estimated to be several gigawatts, may require Microsoft and OpenAI to explore alternative power sources like nuclear power. And this is the perfect segue to the third project that Sam Altman is working on, Helion Energy. On their website, it says they are aiming to build the world's first fusion power plant. Sam has invested a whopping $375 million into Helion Energy. So what exactly is nuclear fusion, and why is Sam Altman investing so much money into this company? First of all, it's important to understand the difference between nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. So nuclear fission is the process of splitting a larger atom into two or more smaller ones. This reaction is what causes the atomic bomb. So once you split this nucleus into two or more nuclei, it releases a ton of energy, which is basically this explosion of the bomb. That energy can also be contained. So instead of it being a bomb, you can contain this energy in nuclear reactors. And that's exactly the purpose of these nuclear power plants. It's to create energy based on splitting these large nuclei. This is also the basis behind all nuclear weapons that we know today. Now, this process produces a lot of radioactive waste products that require proper handling and disposal. If you come into contact with such radioactive materials, you could get mutations and cancer and a lot of other unwanted side effects. So that's nuclear fission. Nuclear fusion is the opposite. So it's merging two or more nuclei together to form a larger nucleus. This process also releases a huge amount of energy. And this is actually what happens in stars such as our sun. Our sun is basically a huge nuclear fusion reaction. Now, the benefits of fusion is it releases even more energy than nuclear fission, but it requires extremely high temperatures and pressures to start and sustain the reaction. In theory, nuclear fusion has the potential to provide a virtually unlimited source of energy with minimal radioactive waste. So that's another benefit of fusion versus fission. With fusion, it produces a lot less radioactive waste. Now, nuclear fusion has actually been around for a while. Scientists have been trying to do this for decades already, and we actually can already do nuclear fusion. We can join two or more nuclei together to form a larger nucleus. However, since it requires such high temperatures and pressures, the cost of energy associated with starting this reaction right now is more than the energy that is outputted from this reaction. So right now, all the efforts trying to do nuclear fusion have been net negative in terms of energy. So in other words, it's not economically feasible to do this because you're spending more energy to create this reaction than what you're getting out of it. But perhaps Sam Altman knows something that we don't. Perhaps the improvement in AI in recent years could allow us to discover more efficient ways of actually getting nuclear fusion to work, and that's why he's investing in Helion Energy. Their timeline is actually very ambitious. They say that they are on track to have its first plant live by 2028, so we're only 4 years away. Again, scientists have been working on nuclear fusion for decades, but they haven't gotten it to be economically feasible. You can see Sam Altman's most recent post where he tweeted that this is where Helion Energy will soon start to install Polaris. So here's a dude over here for scale so you can see how large this place is. Now, what exactly is Polaris? So according to the Helion's website, they say that Polaris is the next big step in commercial fusion development. This machine will have stronger magnets and will pulse up to 100 times faster than Trenta, which I assume is their previous model, enabling us to achieve improved fusion conditions. If successful, Polaris will be the first fusion machine to demonstrate electricity production from fusion. And by the way, Helion has already secured their first customer. Can you guess who it is? It's none other than Microsoft. Now, this all ties in with what Sam Altman is ultimately trying to do. First, he has OpenAI, which is aiming to build the world's best AI models. And the models that are currently released right now, they're nothing in comparison to what he wants. Sora and ChatGPT, these are just narrow AIs. So these are AIs that are designed for specific tasks, such as video generation, or voice cloning, or image generation, or writing an essay. Sam Altman wants to achieve AGI, an AI that is able to perform all tasks better than most humans. And ultimately, artificial superintelligence, an AI that is so damn good that it outperforms all humans at everything. In order to achieve this and then this, he needs to build a huge AI model with tons and tons of parameters. In order to do that, he needs to have enough computing, and that's why he's planning this Stargate project with Microsoft to build the world's biggest supercomputer data center. Now, in order to run the damn thing, you need lots and lots of energy, and that's why he's investing into Helion, which, if they do achieve nuclear fusion, this provides virtually unlimited energy for Sam Altman to use in his computing efforts to train and support these massive AI models. And traditional methods aren't going to work. It's not going to be enough power for this huge data center. So burning fossil fuels, burning coal, for example, the output and the efficiency isn't great, plus it's horrible for the environment. Renewable energies like wind and solar, again, it's great for powering regular everyday usage of society, but the output is just not enough to power a very energy intensive data center. All the energy methods that we're using today, it's not enough to power Stargate. Stargate is going to bring down the power grid. And so the only option is to figure out nuclear fusion, which in theory gives them unlimited energy. So let's say all three of these are successfully built. He's built an artificial superintelligence model with OpenAI. Again, this is an AI that outperforms humans at pretty much everything. And this is being powered by the Stargate data center, which gets its energy from nuclear fusion from Helion Energy. And with ASI, we're going to get hyperabundance. There's going to be so many new materials being discovered. There's going to be new drugs being discovered that potentially cures cancer, cures diabetes. There's going to be new battery materials. So all our electronics, our electric cars are going to be like 100 times more efficient. There's going to be humanoid robots that automate everything in the world. And we humans just sit back and relax and let AI take care of us. When that time comes, most of us are going to be jobless because, we have AI and robots just doing everything for us. And with this hyperabundance, we are going to get probably what is known as universal basic income, which leads me to Sam Altman's next major project, WorldCoin. So first, let's talk about what is universal basic income. It's an idea that everyone in the world gets paid with a regular sum of money from the government. It doesn't matter what income they have, what employment status they have. Everyone gets paid unconditionally with a sum of money regularly. And a few of the benefits of UBI is that it provides a financial safety net and reduces poverty around the world. It also compensates for job losses due to automation and technological change, such as AI replacing humans at almost everything. Now, there are pros and cons to UBI, which is beyond the scope of this video, but with the crazy speed of improvements in AI right now, more and more people are talking about the potential of UBI being implemented in the near future. And this brings us to WorldCoin, of which Sam Altman is a co-founder. WorldCoin is essentially a cryptocurrency and a digital identity platform. The goal of WorldCoin is to provide a way for every person on the planet to have a verified digital identity. This identity is called the World ID. Users have to download this WorldCoin app and have their iris scanned by a device called an orb. And no, I'm not making this up. This is really what they're trying to do. Here you can see Sam Altman scanning his eye with an orb. In fact, you can even apply to become an orb operator, where you carry this orb around the world and you just scan people's eyes. So you can see this guy taking an orb to this village in Southeast Asia, I assume, and people, they have no idea what's going on, and you can tell by the looks on their faces that everyone is super excited to have their eyes scanned by this orb to get their World ID. So once you've scanned your eye with this orb, you're going to have a World ID, which is what they call proof of humanness. It's proof that you are human. Afterwards, you can access your WorldCoin cryptocurrency wallet on the app and make transactions using the WorldCoin token. And I believe Sam Altman has founded this company so that eventually, when AI gets so good that it replaces all humans at everything, and we get hyperabundance and we get this universal basic income, this income might be paid out in WorldCoin. Now, this is a very unique and innovative idea, but it has faced quite a lot of criticism and regulatory scrutiny in some countries. Of course, due to concerns about privacy, data collection, etc. For example, WorldCoin is now banned in Portugal and Spain. And honestly, while the concept of UBI is good, I don't understand why we need to pay this income out in a cryptocurrency. And if we do pay it out in cryptocurrency, why not just use Bitcoin? Why are we creating another coin out of thin air called WorldCoin? The reason why Bitcoin is shooting up in value and why there's more and more demand for Bitcoin is because right now people are starting to lose faith in the US dollar as the global currency. The whole case for Bitcoin is that it's decentralized. It's not controlled by any person or entity or government. You have total control over your own Bitcoin. There's also a finite amount of Bitcoin, so you can't just print Bitcoin out of thin air, just like how the US government would print trillions of dollars of USD out of thin air. So if we do reach a scenario where we do have universal basic income, why not just pay this out in Bitcoin, which is currently the best candidate for a global currency? Why do we need to create another cryptocurrency called WorldCoin out of thin air? And the problem with WorldCoin is it's currently not decentralized. So anyways, that's just my take on this whole WorldCoin idea. This proof of humanness is interesting, but do we need to create another cryptocurrency for this when we already have a much better candidate out there, which is Bitcoin? But anyways, this is Sam Altman's next big project. I think once he gets OpenAI to build a artificial super intelligence, this AI is going to be trained and run by Stargate, and Stargate is going to be powered by Helion energy. And then once this is achieved and we get hyperabundance, Sam is going to pay us out in the global currency called WorldCoin, which he owns. So that's crazy. Not only is he controlling the world's most advanced AI, the world's most advanced computing data center, he might be the biggest owner of the world's biggest energy plant, which if they succeed, it's going to give them virtually unlimited energy. And then he's also going to control the world's currency. So I hope by now you see why the title of this video is How Sam is Going to Take Over the World. So let's say he does get to this stage. He's now the king of the world. He owns the world's currency, the world's best technology. He controls freaking everything. What would he be the most afraid of? The answer is death. If you're the king of the world, the last thing you would want is to die. So this brings us to the final project he is working on, RetroBio. On their website, it says, our mission is to add 10 years to healthy human lifespan. We're starting with cellular reprogramming, autophagy, and plasma-inspired therapeutics. So this idea actually started in 2021, even before OpenAI blew up and ChatGPT became popular. Sam invested $180 million into this side project, and he approached a former biotech partner at Y Combinator called Joe Betts-LaCroix. So Y Combinator is one of the world's best startup accelerators, and Sam Altman was president of Y Combinator before starting OpenAI. And then Joe, at that time, he was a biotech partner at Y Combinator, and he was already working on cellular reprogramming techniques. But Sam Altman was really interested in this space and researching ways to promote longevity, so he suggested working with Joe under one company and forming Retro Biosciences, in which he invested $180 million. It says here Betts-LaCroix has been a longtime promoter of more hard science and deep biology for longevity through his nonprofit, Health Extension Foundation. And, researching longevity kind of fits in with Sam Altman's personality. Sam is actually quite obsessed with survival preparation. He has a stash of guns, gold, and land hidden somewhere. It's probably like a nuclear bunker hidden somewhere. So Retro Biosciences, they're focusing on 3 different verticals. One is cellular reprogramming, the second one is autophagy, and the third is plasma-inspired therapeutics. So let's go over each one of those. First, autophagy, this is our body's built-in recycling process that keeps our cells healthy. Auto means self and phagy means eat. So essentially, autophagy is a process where our cells degrade and recycle their components. So it's a way for our body to remove damaged or dysfunctional components and reuse these broken down components to generate energy or build new structures. And right now we do have a few pills that can improve cellular efficiency. The closest to that function is rapamycin, which is used for kidney transplants, or metformin, which is used for people with diabetes. But interestingly, these two show promise for boosting longevity. And actually, a lot of ultra-wealthy billionaires are taking metformin in hopes of increasing their lifespan, not because they have diabetes. But as of right now, there's no particular drug that directly targets autophagy. Again, this is the built-in recycling process of our body. Number 2 is cellular reprogramming. Cellular reprogramming is the process of changing the identity or properties of a cell by changing its gene expression patterns. Now, all our cells in our body are programmed by DNA, right? So you can actually reprogram that DNA so that it expresses different genes, and that can lead to different outputs. So this often leads to changing one type of cell into another type of cell. And cellular reprogramming has, of course, significant implications for regenerative medicine and longevity. So one idea is to make old cells act young again by reprogramming them into a younger state using these well-known Yamanaka factors. This is named after stem cell researcher Shinya Yamanaka, who won a Nobel Prize in 2012. Getting a bit more into the details, the Yamanaka factors consist of 4 specific genes. these 4 over here, which I have no idea how to pronounce. But basically, these genes, he found that they encode the proteins that act as transcription factors, which means they regulate the expression of other genes in the cell. So if you make a drug or you find a way to change these 4 specific genes, these 4 Yamanaka factors, in theory, you could change the gene expression of that cell. However, it says right now it's hard to accomplish this kind of reprogramming in a way that doesn't potentially cause cancer or other health issues. So to avoid such serious side effects, here Betts Lacroix suggests starting very slowly, extracting cells from people's ears or knee joints, partially reprogramming them to de-age just a bit, and then inserting them back into the person once they've been deemed safe. And the last one is plasma therapy. Now, plasma is the liquid component of your blood, so it's your blood that doesn't include your red blood cells. So this is made of like proteins, water, nutrients, electrolytes, etc. Plasma therapy is just the process of changing your blood plasma. This usually involves taking the blood plasma of someone else, for example, a younger person or someone who has recovered from a disease that you're experiencing. And then once you inject their plasma into yours, it could help you treat the disease or, in theory, give you a longer lifespan. So earlier on, both Sam and Joe were really interested in this study published in 2020, rejuvenation of the 3 germ layer tissues by exchanging old blood plasma with saline albumin. This is a study done by folks at UC Berkeley, and what they found was that just by switching the blood plasma of old mice with a saline solution, this had a rejuvenating effect on old mice. So this was a breakthrough because previously studies had to, inject these old mice with plasma from younger individuals. Basically, they are diluting the blood of these old mice with blood of younger mice, which gave them some signs of an extended lifespan. But this study says we don't even need the blood of younger mice. We just need to exchange their old blood plasma with a saline solution. And quick tangent, ultra-wealthy millionaire Brian Johnson, who sold his company to PayPal for $800 million, he's also working on a project to extend longevity, and this is a photo of him doing a blood exchange with his son. In other words, he's receiving blood from his son to see if it promotes his longevity. And the studies done on mice, it shows that it reduces inflammation, improves muscle and liver health, and boosts the formation of brain cells. And Brian Johnson is just one of many ultra-wealthy people trying to research longevity and extend their life because, they already have all the money in the world. They could get whatever they want in the world. So what are they most afraid of? Death. So Brian Johnson is probably the most well-known one right now. He's working on this longevity project called Blueprint, but there's also a few others. So Jeff Bezos has invested a ton of money into this company, Altos Labs, which is also working towards a similar mission. And then there's billionaire Peter Thiel, who agreed to have his body cryogenically frozen when he dies, so that he can be brought back to life later. And then we also have German billionaire Christian Angermayer, who is the chairman of Cambrian Bio, and he's focused on developing a wide range of pills and treatments for improving aging. But anyways, that sums up what Retro Biosciences is trying to do. Their mission is to extend the human lifespan by 10 years. And I think this is just the start. Once they achieve this, I think the next step is how do we reverse aging, or even how do we live forever? But anyways, this is Sam Altman's other project. Once he becomes king of the world, the thing that he's most afraid of is dying. So that's why he's invested into Retro Biosciences to figure a way to live longer. So all in all, that is Sam Altman's grand scheme of things. Now, I've only covered the 5 main companies he's invested in or he's working on, but note that he's an investor in many other companies as well, including Reddit, Elon's Neuralink, Humane AI, which is working on this pin device, Stripe, and Hermeus Aviation, which is building hypersonic aircrafts. He's also raising as much as $7 trillion for an AI chip project. He's also an investor of this other AI chip company called Ray Neuromorphics, which is designing an AI chip that mimics the human brain. If you're wondering why do we need to mimic the human brain for an AI chip, check out this video. OpenAI is also an investor in this humanoid robot company called Figure AI, which I did a video on previously. There's a huge potential for these humanoid robots to one day roam around the world and automate a lot of tasks that otherwise we humans would be doing. And guess what these robots are programmed by? None other than OpenAI's models. But anyways, I picked these 5 projects because, first of all, Sam Altman has invested a ton of money into these projects, and if all of these succeed, this could propel this one man to be the most powerful person in the world. This would give him a lot of power and control. Let's say all 5 of these succeed, he would own ASI, Artificial Superintelligence, which means it's a super smart AI that outperforms humans at everything. He would own the world's biggest data center in order to support such an AI model. That data center would be powered by Helion energy, which is nuclear fusion, and it basically means virtually unlimited energy. And then as AI starts to take over, we might have universal basic income, and he's going to start paying us out in WorldCoin, and WorldCoin might become the global currency. And then finally, he also owns the key to longevity. You can see how all 5 of these ideas play together in his grand scheme. For the record, I just want to clarify my own personal opinion of Sam Altman. I do think he's a good guy in all of this. He's doing this for the benefit of humanity, for the benefit of the planet, and I do believe he has good intentions. I rather that he is the one who leads OpenAI rather than someone else. Let's just hope that my belief is true. Let me know in the comments below what you think of all these mega projects that Sam Altman is working on. And if you found this video helpful, remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Also, we built a site where you can find AI tools and also look for jobs in AI, machine learning, data science, and more. Check it out at ai-search.io. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.